the first pick.
Hey everybody, Conor Dorney back at day 2 of the 2025 MLB Draft Combine in Phoenix. I'm joined right now by Justin Mitrovich from Elon University. Justin, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you just recently got off the mound. How'd you feel out there?
Felt good. Felt command was pretty good today. I had the catcher kind of set up middle or like 2/3, kind of just to give me a decent aim point, and felt like I was around the zone, so I was happy with it.
That's good. And now this whole combine experience, getting here and seeing, the spectacle, if you will, is it kind of what you expected coming in, or is it a little different? How did you have it in your head before getting here?
I didn't really know much about it. I mean, I watched in years past. Like, I'd watched the on-field stuff, but I thought there's a lot more than I thought of it when I first saw it and stuff. So when I first got here, it was kind of eye-opening, and it was really cool. It's been a really neat experience so far.
Yeah. Now, for some of our viewers who might not be familiar with you, can you give a little bit of background on yourself and kind of how you got to this point?
Yeah, so from Yardley, Pennsylvania. Played basketball a little bit growing up. Played baseball since I was 7. Committed to Elon as a sophomore. And then stuck with them, and really enjoyed the coaching experience there and coaching staff. It helped me kind of develop into a person, as a player as well as a person. So they've been nothing but great. And I studied mathematics at school. So
okay. Yeah, and so like you mentioned, committing to a school that you end up sticking with it through since you're a sophomore year of high school. In today's day and age with the transfer portal and everything, that's a pretty unique experience. So what kind of for you were the benefits of staying with the program as long as you did it at Elon?
Well, I mean, you still have to earn your spot every fall and every season, but we had a really good connection and bond and relationship with me and all the other coaching staff. So I think it made it a little bit easier coming back. And if we had to work through things, we could talk through it, and it'd be really easy to go in and stop by, hey, I'm working on this. What are your thoughts? And it was really good back and forth. So I was happy with it overall.
And how important do you think that is to your development as a player, to be able to have those kind of conversations with the coaching staff and know exactly where you want to be in the future and how they can help you accomplish that?
Super important. Communication is one of the biggest things when you're looking for a relationship and building. And I think having those difficult conversations when you're struggling, having those conversations when you're going good is both equally as important. But I think it starts with communication. I feel like once you set a good baseline and you guys can work through things, it really makes something special.
Now, speaking to working through that adversity as a pitcher, that's super important. How do you approach that side of the game? Like, say you go out there and you're from the onset you're not having your best stuff. You're not being able to find the zone. Like, how are you able to lock in and push past that and perform it at a high level?
Well, so you start by building a routine. You build a routine that you can trust, and then once you're able to do that, it's you're controlling your mind, you're controlling your breathing, and then going about each day and each week the same, and making small little tweaks to your routine so that next outing is a little bit better. And so if you have a bad outing, it happens, it's life, but you still take that same routine and maybe you tweak little bit things in it. You don't change it, but you tweak it a little bit, and as long as your mind's right and you control your emotions and stuff, it will get better as the weeks go on.
Now, a huge element of the game, and it's on all the screens here during the entire process, or the metric side, the data side. What's your approach to pitch development, pitch design, just overall the feedback that you're getting from those systems and how you implement it on the field?
Yeah, it's super unique, and I just started learning it not too long ago. I'd probably say about 2 years I started to know all of it, so I'm still pretty fresh to it. But it's a unique tool, and I use it as a tool. There's still a lot of aspects that, in the nature of the game, that you have to go by, and it's a good way for a baseline. But these kind of tools allow you to develop in your new pitches. If something maybe doesn't look great but metrically is good, you can still use it, that kind of thing. And so I think all that stuff's very unique, but it's a tool, and you got to kind of have to separate the two. And that's what I like to do. I like to separate the two. I like to use it a little bit when I'm practicing, working, but when it's game time, it's the game. It's all competing.
Now, Elon, has been a very consistent program for a number of years now. I think in general, some of the casual baseball fans might not be super familiar, but for example, George Kirby with the Mariners having a ton of success at the big league level, and Elon alum himself. How important is it to see a guy like that, succeeding at that high level from a smaller school, and how does that make you feel being part of that program?
Yeah, it makes it so dreams are maybe easier to achieve. I don't know if easier would be the right word, but it's you go to a mid-major and you see someone that big of a name, you're like, okay, like I can be in the same boat. I can be in the same boat. I can match that, and I can be the same, like get up to that same level. But it's great, and it's really good for the team. It's really good for recruiting, and I kind of look up to those guys, so it's really cool and seeing that they went to the same school that I did.
Yeah, and I mean, especially given the fact that the transfer portal is so prevalent, there is always that element of the game that people move around a lot and that kind of thing. But do you feel like staying consistent at the same program and not going somewhere else maybe because you feel like I might be higher on the list or might get some more eyes on me? Do you feel like it's still important for you to kind of stay the course and be in an element or environment that you're comfortable with?
Yeah, I think to kind of stem off the environment, I think it's person dependent. I think if you really have a really good relationship with the coach and maybe you're not getting as much playing time, you can work through those relationships that we're talking about with the communication, and you can hopefully get on the field faster than you go to a different school. But sometimes situations and relationships aren't the same, and someone wants to take a different road, and maybe that works out better for them. But me personally, like I said, I had a good relationship with the coaching staff at Elon, and so I was loyal to them, and they were loyal back to me. So like I said, we had a really good relationship. So I think it stems with that.
Now, throughout the course of your college career, were there any hitters that you faced that were particularly tough AB, or guys that you keep going back to and you're like, man, I wish I had that chance again to face that guy in the box?
Not off the top of the head, but guys with shorter swings sometimes, so short to the ball swings. Those guys usually are some tough at bats. My roommate actually, Ryan Sprague, he has some nice success off me. So we have some battles back and forth, but that's one name that would step out.
That's funny because I've talked to a couple other people today and asked them the same question, and they brought up a teammate that has been the one that they always keep thinking of having most success. I mean, I guess they are seeing you on such a regular basis, so you think it's exposed.
Yeah, because if I play Wilmington, we play him for one weekend, maybe two in the tournament.
Right.
So you don't see him as much, but you see your teammates every day.
Yeah,
they're gonna fight off you. So.
They know how to get under your skin.
Yeah.
Now, a huge element of this entire process is communicating to teams like the type of person you are off the field, because that's a huge component of it. Are there passions that you have away from the game that kind of can take your mind off things and help you relax and things like that?
Yeah, I love traveling. I like adventuring around. I think I like this past fall I went to Utah.
Okay.
So I like going and traveling. I like shooting pool. I just started picking up golf not too long ago.
Okay.
So I'm starting to get into that, but and then I read every day, and I learn some new investing stuff, and I like that aspect of life too. So
yeah,
a little bit of everything, but I have picked up golf recently. So it's been kind of fun.
Now, does the intensity on the mound also translate to on the golf course, or
not to the same
chill?
level?
No?
Yeah, not to the same level. Yeah, I've been playing pretty lax because I don't know what to expect really, but I've been working on my swing and stuff, so hopefully it translates.
That's good. It's good to have that outlet for sure.
Yeah.
Now, we're nearing the end of this process, less than a month until the draft. Is there anything that you maybe wish you knew beforehand going in, or like a piece of advice that has stuck with you in particular that you know that you'll be able to apply when you get into pro ball?
I think just staying level-headed the entire time. I think not getting too high and too low is the biggest thing, and it goes for like in life a lot. Like you're gonna have some really low moments, you're gonna have some really high, but if you can stay level, kind of works itself out. And it's it's kind of like the baseline of what I do. Like a lot of the days, I have like a good day, and then I'll just try to stay level-headed as possible. Bad days, level-headed as possible. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Well, if you're picking up a game like golf voluntarily, you have to be somewhat level-headed.
I
personally could not do it, but that's to each their own, and I'm not hitting anything straight off the tee, so that's I'm sure part of it. But you know what, that's life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Justin Mitrovich, thanks so much for joining us today, and appreciate your time.
Thank
Best
you.
of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you for having me.
All right.